the slow robbery of growing up, why becoming mature feels like an erasure, the quiet tragedy of becoming someone else. The scariest part of looking at old photographs isn't seeing how much you have aged. It is looking at your own smiling face from 10 years ago and realizing you don't recognize the person behind the eyes. You remember the date, the location, and the outfit, but you cannot remember what it felt like to be that version of you. We often mourn the people who leave us. We write poetry about breakups and drift apart friendships, but we rarely talk about the grief of leaving ourselves behind. Science says that every 7 years, almost every cell in the human body is replaced. We are physically not the same people we were a decade ago, but it feels like more than just biology. It feels like a slow, quiet erasure. I read through old journals and the handwriting belongs to a stranger. I read old text messages where I used to use so many exclamation marks, so much naive hope, and I wonder, when did I stop speaking that language? The world demands that we grow. It demands that we harden our hearts a little to survive, that we trade our wild dreams for realistic goals, and that we swap our loud laughter for polite smiles. We call this maturity, but sometimes late at night, it feels less like growth and more like a robbery. Time didn't just steal my friends. It stole the me that believed in magic. This is why we feel so lonely in crowded rooms. It isn't because we don't have people to talk to. It is because most of the people around us only know the current draft of who we are. They see the polished exterior, the professional job, the calm demeanor. They never met the messy, chaotic, terrified version of us that existed before the storm hit. They admire the house, but they didn't see the fire that burned the previous one down. We walk around carrying libraries of stories that no one else can read. And this is why it feels like a miracle when I look at you. You are the only person who has read the early chapters. You are the only one who remembers the haircut I regret, the band I was obsessed with, and the specific way my voice cracked when I told you I was afraid of the future. You are the custodian of my history. In a life where I am constantly rewriting myself to fit into new boxes, you are the proof that the old versions existed. When I feel like a fraud, or when I feel like I have become too cold and cynical, you look at me with that familiar warmth, and suddenly I am pulled back. I remember who I was, simply because you haven't forgotten. Real love isn't just about holding hands in the present. It is about bearing witness to the past. It is having someone look at the ruins of who you were, the construction site of who you are, and the blueprints of who you want to be, and saying, I know all 3 of these people, and I love them all. Without you, my past is just a rumor. Without you, the person I used to be is a ghost that no one else can see. So let the years move fast. Let the cells regenerate and the seasons change. Let the world rewrite the skyline and repaint the streets. As long as there is someone who remembers the original draft, the story isn't lost. You are my memory when I forget myself. And that is enough to make the changing meaningful. This is Yanji, signing off.